Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! I have never really known what I'm about to say each time that I push record, but I think that's what makes every video that I've uploaded so fun, and puts smiles on every fan's face who ever have been a fan of Descendants of Zombies. You are here because you are a fan of Descendants of Zombies. You found this thumbnail and you clicked on it because you're a fan of Descendants of Zombies. And today, because of you, this YouTube channel will put up over 100,000 views. I have no idea what time this is going to happen, but I know it will happen sometime between now and sunset tonight, and I am forever appreciative of every single girl who has ever hit my subscribe button because they were a fan of Descendants of Zombies. I would just like to take a moment to say thank you so much for making this YouTube channel as special to me as what it has become, and special for you and every fan of Descendants of Zombies, because every single person who has ever hit my subscribe button has allowed somebody out there who may have been a fan of Descendants of Zombies to find this YouTube channel and to see something special in it. I have always loved having these conversations about Liamani, Sugora, Clarke, and I look forward to having these conversations for many years to come. Hello once again, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who have never seen me before on YouTube, my name is Jonathan Clarke, and it has forever and always been my honor to create content for you that you've come to know, love, and appreciate over this last year more especially. Because over this last year, I never thought this YouTube channel would see 10 subscribers. And it went from me thinking this YouTube channel was going to have only 10 subscribers to 5,000. And I have each and every one of you to thank for that. I will never be able to express how deeply appreciative I am of everybody. I can never seem to do it because I never know what I'm about to say every time I push record. But I can tell you from my heart to yours that I've had the time of my life, and I've had so much fun uploading the content that you've come to know, love, and appreciate, which is more than I can say for any YouTube creator out there who have failed to carry with them the same appreciation for Descendants of Zombies that has forever and always existed in the hearts of every fan of Descendants of Zombies. I don't know ever what I'm going to say on every video, but I know that I want to say thank you so much to every girl who has ever subscribed here to this YouTube channel and saw something special in my conversations that I've had with you about Clarke and Liamani Sugora, which had everything to do with their futures, because they have beautiful futures and very bright futures in store for them, and we are going to experience this, and we are really going to be a part of history, because we know that Pink, the character played by Liamani Sugora, is going to be one of the many consequences of time travel after Red and Chloe traveled back in time in 2024's Rise of Red, as one of the many consequences of time travel after they had altered the fabric of time, which means we are about to find out if happily ever after was all they ever imagined it would be, and I'm really excited to see what the consequences of this will play out to be. I predict a very beautiful storyline. No matter what way you feel about this one, it's going to be a beautiful storyline. We are going to see far more characters introduced to this storyline than perhaps ever before. We have characters from Princess and the Frog. We have characters from Encanto. We really have so much to be excited about. It's not just one particular storyline created because of one particular character who is going to come in from out of nowhere, just kind of show up and create all this controversy. I have always loved stories between sisters and brothers because it really creates a beautiful storyline of appreciation and just how valuable love and friendships that we have in our lifetime truly mean to each and every one of us. I think that more of us, more often than ever given credit for, have been able to relate to these stories that we've seen portrayed by these Descendants characters because of just how beautiful their stories were represented, because we have heard these stories for really over 50 years. Now, I have never been alive for 50 years, but I know that over at least 50 years, the stories of Sleeping Beauty and The Little Mermaid and Aladdin have been stories that have been appreciated for so long, and I think that having these stories retold as part of the Descendants franchise has given us a greater appreciation. One of the things that I've been praised a lot about and I've been talked about for having done with the Descendants of Zombies franchises is taking a complex story and making it understandable and relatable to so many wonderful fans of Descendants of Zombies. And I've taken a great deal of pride and passion away each time that I've retold this story, and I've kind of broken down the elements of this story to make it more understandable to whatever age demographic may have been watching this show, because I have all sorts of age demographics who have become appealing to this show. Of course, I have people who are 7 years old, I have people who are 10 10 years old. I had people up as high as 17 years old watching these videos. So one thing that I try to do in every video that I've ever recorded about Descendants of Zombies with my thoughts in them on Clarke and Liamani Sugora is take a very complex story about daywalkers and nightwalkers, for example, or fairy tale characters, and take some of the most complex stories and make them relatable to people. And I like to believe that some way or somehow over the course of this last year, over that period of time, I have made this so fun for everybody, and I've touched each and every one of your hearts in some way or somehow, in some form or capacity. Because I really do believe that you've not only got to talk about Descendants of Zombies each time that you push record, you've got to really relate to your audience. And I think that a lot of people who upload these AI videos about Descendants, no matter if it's a fake teaser, a fake trailer, or a cast interview that they're breaking down to try to analyze or review, you've really got to have that greater appreciation for your fans, your fandom who love this YouTube channel so much. Unquestionably, this YouTube channel has become everybody's favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel for the conversation that I had with you about Freya Sky, that I had with you about Liamani Sugora, who I think really has a beautiful future. You know, guys, one of the things that really jumped out at me about Liamani Sugora was kind of like how Freya Sky was so appreciative of each and every one of you, her concerts, and these moments she got to share in with each and every one of you, was about Liamani Sugora's appreciation. That's what really jumped out at me about her, was that she was so appreciative of the opportunity she was given to be in High School Musical, the series, and now in Descendants, because it's been years in the making. And I think that this is really where we would have thought that Reb would have ended up with a sister because of one of the consequences of time travel, you know, trying to find her place in Happily Ever After. And I think every character has desperately been trying to find their place in Happily Ever After, no matter how long it's taken them to find it. I've always believed that everybody has a light, and I think that eventually everybody does find that light. Now, I know that sounds very reminiscent of Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, but because he was one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters of all time from Final Fantasy VII Remake and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I have copies of, I've often quoted him because I've always believed in what Cloud believed in. And that was how everybody has an individual light, no matter how long it takes you to find it. And trust me, guys, no matter how many installments of Descendants we have already been witnessed and how many Descendants installments we have yet to see, every one of these characters will eventually find their light, because that's exactly what I'm here to do, is to ensure that your favorite Descendants of Zombies characters find their place in history and do eventually find their light, because that's all I've ever wanted to be a part of, is really leaving behind a legacy. I've always wanted it to be something to do with Descendants of Zombies, because I think that there are far too many YouTube creators who upload content taking advantage of what the opportunity has been presented by Descendants of Zombies, but never really had that same appreciation for you as a fandom. You guys are incredibly loyal to who and what you love, so if you're a fan of Freya Sky, you will die a fan of Freya Sky. And I think that the more people who very quickly understand how much being a fan of Freya Sky or Kali Control means to the fandom of Descendants of Zombies, I think the quicker we understand that, the greater appreciation we can give to this fandom. Because I've often studied this franchise. I have often, put together my thoughts in videos because I've loved sharing this story with each and every one of you. And if I tell you I've watched Descendants of Zombies 100 times, if not 1,000, then you had better believe that I've watched Descendants of Zombies 100 times, if not 1,000. And each time that I've watched Descendants of Zombies, I've had a greater appreciation for this story time and time again. Because each time that you watch this story, it's told to you differently. I think that no matter how many times you watch it, you've always felt as if you were part of something special. Through its music, through its powerful characters, and its really defining story, which has allowed them to go on to have legacies. And I think that retelling these classic fairy tales of Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland inspired stories, it's really wonderful for me to have the opportunity to be a part of it. This past summer, I had the honor of reviewing Zombies 4 Down in the Vampires. I also had the honor of talking about the Worlds Collide Tour. And to be honest with each and every one of you, I had the time of my life. The energy was at an all-time high. You guys were forever appreciative of these moments that you had the chance to be a part of. And I was eternally grateful for everybody who made these moments possible for each and every one of you. The cast, the crew, your parents who sacrificed a great deal to make sure that you attended the Worlds Collide Tour so you could experience a moment that you were only ever going to experience once in your lifetime, because these moments should forever and always be cherished. And if I could say thank you to anybody out there, it would be each and every one of you for making the Worlds Collide Tour such a profound success. And I think because of what you made the Worlds Collide Tour become a profound success, We have Leg 2 of the Worlds Collide Tour, which is something to be very excited about, which is not expected to happen, I know, until late 2026, but even if it doesn't happen until late 2026, I think it is going to be very well received overseas, because it will give them a chance to tour in the United Kingdom, Germany, Australia, different parts of the world. We've never seen the Worlds Collide Tour achieve exposure for, and of course, obviously, people like Freya Sky, Kylie Contrell, will be a part of Leg 2 of the Worlds Collide Tour, but you take a look at the profound success that the Worlds Collide Tour had. For sure, Leg 2 will see its fair share of criticism. People will say forever that it should never have ever happened, but I think that given the profound success the Worlds Collide Tour has seen early on, I think it gives us even more reason to believe that Leg 2 is going to be just as phenomenal. And I am really excited to be a part of it with each and every one of you, because I think the energy is very different overseas than what we see in the United States and Canada. And I think that because of how well received the original Worlds Collide Tour was, the second half of the tour is just going to really help define and solidify its legacies. And the cool thing about the Leg 2 of the Worlds Collide Tour is there will be more cast members added in as part of the bill for the Worlds Collide Tour. So we'll see Liamani Sugora singing her new songs. We'll see new cast members from Princess and the Frog and Encanto kind of added on to the lineup. So it's going to be something to be very appreciative of. I think merch is going to fly off the shelves like it's been flying off the shelves of Freya Sky and KylieControl.com, which I found time and appreciating. I got to tell you guys, I've loved the Freya Sky hoodies. I've loved the Freya Sky merch. I've wanted all of it. I've wanted it all to give away to you guys on this YouTube channel, which is the first thing that I'm going after this YouTube channel achieves monetization. Because you can always choose to talk about Descendants and Zombies, but when you showcase your appreciation for Descendants and Zombies, it's unlike any other opportunity that you could ever be presented as a YouTube creator. And I've had the opportunity to really create magic for every fan of Descendants and Zombies. Not only to create magic, but to be a part of magic. And I've never felt more honored to be a part of that with each and every one of you. Because years ago, all I would ever do on YouTube is review a video game or talk about a movie that I may have seen. And I think that each time that you have the chance to talk about something like Descendants and Zombies, there was always a powerful way of talking about it, to make people feel as if they're a part of something special, to make people feel connected to a franchise. Because we can just say, okay, Liamani Sugora appreciates the 1980s and wants to live through that decade. But why does she want to live through that decade? It's because of the music. It's because of the powerful personalities that we saw in the 1980s. And I found time in appreciating that because I was one of those guys that had the honor of growing up in the 1980s. So I saw the rise in popularity of Mike Tyson when he was just 17 years old, becoming a professional boxer. He knocked out Hector Martinez in a one-round boxing match that only lasted about 5 minutes in length. I remember seeing that. I remember seeing the rise in popularity of girls like Whitney Houston and all these popular artists in the 1980s like Michael Jackson learning how to moonwalk. I wasn't very old, but I remember the 1980s in such a profound way, and I can understand the appreciation that comes from Liamani Sugora wishing that she had the opportunity to live through the 1980s, and especially Kylie Control's desire to want to go back in time and live through the 1990s, because if there was one decade that I had never felt more honored to have been a part of, it would have been the 1990s, because of how popular bands like the Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears came from out of nowhere and really defined what one decade could truly go on to mean to everybody. I've often wanted the opportunity to go back in time with Kylie Control and live through the 1990s because it was an incredible time to experience. And I think that we can never have enough opportunities to really enjoy what Descendants and Zombies has given to each and every one of us. I know there are a lot of people out there who will forever wonder when Descendants 5 Wick Wonderland is coming out. And I really wish I had the answer, but because I speak from the perspective of a fan, I've never known when Descendants 5 Wick Wonderland or Zombies 5 is going to drop. I just know it's going to happen sometime between now and the end of 2026. It is forecasted to drop in the summer of 2026, which means it could happen between June and August of 2026. But I remember the latest Descendants release window was August 2nd, 2019, and that would have been over at least 11 years ago. So it's been a really long time since we have seen a Descendants movie drop over 2 years, because 2 years feels like forever for everybody. But I think eventually when Descendants 5 Week Wonderland does drop and become a reality for all of us, it's going to be something to be very excited about. I have never seen a girl so strong as what Liamani Sugora is. She has never really cared what anybody thought about her, and because she's never really cared what anybody thought about her, she's been able to bring these unbelievable characters to life in such an authentic way, and that's made her so fearless and so strong given the pressure that she's often had to deal with. And I have a profound amount of respect for these girls going through the pressure they've had to deal with constantly, having to live up to a certain criteria of a management label or what the Disney company wants them to be perceived for having been. There's always a constant struggle having to deal with this pressure, but you know something that outshines that every single time? It has everything to do with how much you guys have loved and supported your favorite stars from their initial beginnings. From the very first time you saw Liamani Sugora on a show like High School Musical, the musical, the series, you guys knew she was going to be something special. From the very first moment you saw Freya Sky on The Next Step, you knew she was going to be something special. And I have followed in your passions, and I have understood you for how you've believed in your passions, because it's all I've ever wanted you guys to be a part of and continue to follow. If there was one thing that I wanted you guys to forever and always do, it was to continue to believe in whatever you believed in and to continue to follow your passions. And while I may never be able to speak for every YouTube creator out there, I think there are never enough opportunities for us to continue to follow our passions. No matter if our passion is about Freya Sky, our passion is about Liamani Sugora, our passion has forever and always been with Clarke and Trell. There is always an opportunity to create something new for a franchise like Descendants of Zombies. One should never believe what a critic is trying to sell you or try to get you to buy into about how we're reaching the dramatic conclusion of Descendants of Zombies. I've very quickly grown tired of hearing people say we're reaching the dramatic conclusion of Descendants of Zombies, because we have done anything but reach a dramatic conclusion for Descendants of Zombies. Because the one thing I want you guys to forever and always know is there is always an opportunity to create something special for Descendants of Zombies. And as long as there's an opportunity to create something special for Descendants of Zombies, it gives us something special to believe in as fans. And I have never felt more appreciative of these moments that I get to share in with each and every one of you, because I never just got to talk about Descendants of Zombies. I got to share in so many incredible moments as a fan of these franchises, which is the one thing that I've never ever forgotten about. So because I've never ever forgotten about it, I think that we can never have enough of these moments, and we can never have enough time to appreciate these moments. Do I think that Liamani Sugora is really going to give life and show incentive for the franchise Descendants? Sure, she is, because I remember how she grew up as a kid watching this as a child, and the one thing she wanted to have the opportunity to be is a part of these franchises. She never had the opportunity to grow up as a fan of the original High School Musical trilogy like I did. And I say this because I remember how special it was for so many people having the chance to grow up as a fan of the original High School Musical trilogy and what it offered to their generation. It really allowed them to define legacies and leave an everlasting impression on the hearts of many High School Musical fans. And now over 15 years later, Descendants of Zombies comes from out of nowhere and presents these people who never had the chance to be a part of High School Musical the opportunity to entertain and enthrall, allow me to say that, in ways they've never had the opportunity to. And they've really made the most of it. You know, you take all the pressure that Clarke and Trell and Malia Baker have been under as characters Red and Chloe Charming. I have a lot of respect for them. And I have a lot of respect for you guys for how you've carried these franchises with you forever and always. I know no matter what happens with these franchises, regardless of who comes in and out of these franchises, in and out of our lives, entering our lives and leaving our lives all the time, I know that I will never ever forget what Descendants of Zombies did for me and did for this channel. Because I just started uploading videos about Descendants of Zombies one night at random, and I've been very well received. And to be honest with each and every one of you, I've been forever appreciative of these moments that I've had to share with so many wonderful fans who have given me so much incentive to create so many wonderful videos. You guys pretty much took a loser on YouTube and turned him into a celebrity overnight, and one of the most revered voices in the history of Descendants of Zombies. And I've loved sharing with you guys my insights, my predictions, where I thought these franchises were headed, because this story is far from over, and we still have a long way to go. And the more that people feel intrigued and feel inspired by these characters such as Pink and such as Red and this beautiful storyline that will be presented for the first time ever, I think we have way more to be excited about than perhaps ever before. We were excited for the original Descendants back on July 31st, 2015. Where were you at on that night? I was sitting at home. I felt so inspired, so enthralled, and very captivated by these franchises, and I felt captivated ever since, wanting to know what's going to happen next. And I felt so honored, ever so honored, to be a part of these moments with each and every one of you. I can never seem to say thank you enough to everybody who has subscribed here, who has ever taken a chance on this YouTube channel, because you guys are the reason why this YouTube channel is celebrating over 100,000 views as of tonight. Before sunset tonight, this YouTube channel will celebrate over 100,000 views, and it's because of our conversations we have had many times, if not 1,000 times over, this last year about Clarke and Liamani, Sugora, and many others. And it wouldn't be me if I didn't say thank you so much. So from my heart to yours, I would just like to take this opportunity to say thank you for having believed in this YouTube channel as much as what you have, and believing in this really crazy guy who has hosted the show from the very beginning, ever since night one of this YouTube channel, when the very first video became public and became watchable here on this YouTube channel, the very first video that I ever uploaded. I promised you guys that I was going to dedicate the rest of my life to Descendants and Zombies, talking about the franchises and representing the franchises more than anything else in the world, the way that you guys have forever and always deserved to have these franchises showcased and often appreciated, and I felt ever so honored to be a part of that because of each and every one of you. This YouTube channel never happened because of me. It happened because of each and every one of you, and how much each and every one of you would go on to believe in it. So from my heart to yours, thank you for having made this your favorite Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel. Thank you for allowing me to have had these conversations with each and every one of you on this exceptionally beautiful morning this morning. Thank you so much for just simply making this YouTube channel your favorite Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel. I'm going to go ahead and upload this video to my YouTube channel, never knowing how many views or subscribers each video is going to receive. But seriously, just know from my heart to yours, I am forever appreciative of each and every one of you, because I know that I would not be here if not for each and every one of you having made this YouTube channel your favorite Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel of all time. Thank you so much for having watched this video.